everybody, and a big hello to Mr. Mr. Krešimir, who is the CEO of Greyp Bikes. First of all, before we start, Mr. Krešo, I would like to thank you so much for your time, energy, and effort that you're taking away from your hectic schedule that I'm guessing you're having. So thank you.
Oh, no problem. It's always a pleasure to be a part of an interesting startup.
Thank you very much. So, Mr. Krešo, we would like to ask you a little bit about your products, because recently, every single day, we're hearing more and more about Greyp Bikes, Greyp e-bikes. So, can you tell us briefly, quickly, what is Greyp? What are your products, and what makes your products different than other in the same sector?
Yeah. So Greyp Bikes is a spin-off of Rimac Automobili. We design, develop, and manufacture e-bikes. What is different about our products compared to others is that we have put a lot of processing power basically onto a bike, and we are trying to put a digital layer on the experience of riding a bike, meaning that our bikes can make decisions on their own. They talk to each other, they talk to infrastructure, they gather a vast amount of data, and based on that, we're trying to create a user experience which is different from other two-wheelers on the market. So if I have to put it in a sentence, we are creating bikes which are smart and connected.
Wow. Okay, so this entire process that you already have and the product that is very interesting and very desired now, I don't think it comes overnight. It requires months and years of planning. So can you tell us a little bit more about that? When was Greyp founded? And along the way, for us who are just starting and for other young innovators out there, when were you founded, and what were your main obstacles along the way?
Well, like most things in the startup world, it started with an idea. There was not a business plan behind it or anything like that. We started as an engineering exercise actually within Rimac Automobili, where we said let's take the technology from a supercar and put it on a bike and see what happens. But then we realized that this is an extremely dynamic market with double-digit growth over the last couple of years. So we spun that out in a separate company. Probably the biggest challenge was that all of the things that we needed for the vision of e-bike that we had did not exist. Literally nothing. Nothing could be bought off the shelf. There was not a single software or a single component, computer, like a backend platform. Nothing that we needed existed. So everything had to be created from scratch. And this was probably the biggest challenge. And more than once did we bite off more than we could chew. I will admit that. And then, of course, like any tech company today, the really big challenge is to attract talent. But let's say that these are the two biggest challenges: attracting the right people, and on the other hand, creating everything from scratch, not just one small piece of the puzzle, but the entire puzzle.
Okay, so that's something to keep an eye on in the future, by all means. And now, when you say attracting talent, can you tell us a little bit about the team? Where are you from, and who's it? I mean, you are overseeing the entire operation. But what kind of background do you guys have, and where were you educated? How are you functioning together as a team to make this product alive?
Yeah, so our internal organization is extremely R&D oriented. This is something that it reflects the way Mate is companies. That basically means that we are extremely vertically integrated in terms of R&D. So we do internally everything from product design, literally industrial design of physical product, to designing UX and UI for software. We do our own mechanical engineering, so we engineer our own physical products. We do our own electronics, so we do our own embedded hardware. We then write operating systems for that hardware, and on top of that, we are also creating the application layer, meaning the iOS apps, Android app. That's why I say we more than once bite more than we could chew, and that was a really big challenge to assemble a team that can cover this vast array of activities that we do. But we believe that really to have a unique product, you need to have full end-to-end product control. Companies like Tesla or Apple are doing exactly that. So and not a single thing that they have is off the shelf, and they completely control the product from the beginning to the end, and that is why they can really disrupt their industries. And this is exactly the reason why we are so stubbornly pushing the idea of creating everything internally, especially on the R&D side. And it is exactly the same what Rimac Satovili is doing.
Well, that absolutely makes sense. If you want to put your signature on a product, you need to go from A to Z right at the end of the day. And
yeah.
When it comes
it is hard.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, this is extremely hard and usually quite expensive in the beginning, but because you have to assemble a really big team. You know, in our case, out of 100 employees now in Greyp, more than half is R&D. So our entire, I would bet that Greyp has the biggest R&D team in the bike industry today. Because we cover such a vast array of activities, and we do everything ourselves. The other companies in the industry literally buy components off the shelf and assemble things like from a catalog. This is not what we are doing. We don't believe that in that way we can truly be unique.
Well, I'm sure you have big plans and big visions, and for such plans, you need to have a big team, especially within the research and development sector. And speaking about plans and visions, what are your future plans when it comes to your product availability, when it comes to pricing? Because I know a few people that were like, oh my goodness, I so want a great bike, and the one that I want, I can't afford it. So, so what are your plans when it comes to that, to make it available to everybody?
Yeah, so we will, a famous quote that says, if you want to please everybody, you will fail. So there is no way that we will always please everybody. Our product roadmap is not something that we invented. A lot of successful companies did exactly the same. We started from a flagship product, which is relatively expensive, but it's not luxury. It's simply a premium product. The same way that Tesla started with Roadster. And now we are building our pyramid down. So we started from the top. We will in a couple of weeks launch another bike, which will be more affordable, targeting a different market segment. And then in 2 years, we are also going to cover a city segment. So we will have a portfolio of bikes with a much wider price range than it is today. However, they are always going to be in the upper part of the market. We will never do that. We will always be BMW of bikes.
Thank you very much. And to close it all off, I'm sure you have to run to another meeting and to conduct a lot of different tasks for today. We are all about sustainability and environmental protection and circular economy. How important is sustainability for your operation? And when you look at the future, what do you think would be the key elements of companies implementing sustainability as their top key factor for development?
Well, I think that electrical mobility is extremely important for sustainability, because the way we move around the cities today is simply not sustainable. So we don't have enough fossil fuels, and bikes are the oldest and simplest form of micromobility. Electrical drivetrain that allows a much wider array of people to use bikes in much wider array of use cases. So just to give you an example, my mother, she's 70, and she would never buy a traditional bike because she lives on a hill and there is no way that she could use a traditional bike, but she has an electric bike, meaning that instead of going to groceries with her car, she can now do that on a bike. The same applies to me, so I can go to work, to office without sweating on an e-bike. And I think that electrical mobility convenient, but actually has a significant impact on the long-term sustainability on this planet. We cannot continue burning fossil fuels. It has to end sooner or later.
Absolutely. It seems as if the further we go into the past, the more we can learn from the old timers and implement that knowledge and developing new technologies. Mr. Krešo, thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best with your products and with the development and with the innovation. And we're looking forward to seeing absolutely everybody driving great bikes around.
Thank you so much, and all the best to your efforts as well.